Exactly. Where evil looks like the truth or good, and where good looks like evil. And that's exactly.
And how come the church is not? Where's the voice?
Yeah, where's the voice? You see, the church is following the people instead of the people following the church. And so, as we do that, as we see the natural progression of righteousness, that people will understand that Islam, submission to God, is the solution. And so we are in the last days wherein evil looks like good, and good looks like evil. And that's the situation we have today. So if you believe in that, if you understand that, then you are closer to being a Muslim than you imagine. You see, I would encourage you to learn more about it. If I ask you, do you believe in one God? What would you say? You say yes. You believe in the prophets of God. God sends messengers in order to renew his message. What would you say? You say yes. Then in fact, you should become a Muslim. Because
I'm not past the point of Jesus Christ.
Well, I'll get you. No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, because there is an understanding. There is an understanding out there of Jesus where Jesus never propagated. He said that I have not come to break the letter of the law, but to fulfill the law of the land, but to fulfill prophecy. Excuse me, to fulfill prophecy. So the people say, if you believe in him, everything is okay. You're going to paradise. You're going to paradise. Okay, so tell me, what happened to everyone before Jesus? Are all of them going to hell?
That was before salvation.
Yeah, well, see, understand that before Jesus, are everyone going to hell? Because you say he's the way, the life.
Yeah, but he also speaks to one thing. He says that you have to. He says on Judgment Day, who will judge you? Jesus Christ.
Well, see,
God. And it says that if you do not know him, he will look at you and say, "Oh, be gone from me, for I never knew you."
That's the verse?
Where? Actually,
I think that's Matthew. I don't know exactly what
he says that according to the Bible, referring to those who come to him on the day of judgment and say, "Lord, haven't I not done many good works in your name and cast out devils in your name?" Right. The only ones who do this is Christians. And he will say to those people that say that to him, "Depart from me, I never knew you." To those who say, I've done many good works in your name, I've cast out devils in your name, he will say to them, "Depart from me, I never knew you." He's not going to say that to us. He's not going to say that to anyone except those who say, "These are what we've done in your name, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus." This is what the Christians do.
So in the name of God, he's trying to get us to understand that God is the source of power. God is the source of strength. God is the one who will judge you. When Jesus came, he came to call to God. And when he came, he prayed to God. He sought refuge in God. So, with that to understand, he called what you call the Father. Okay? He called the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Right? This is Trinity. Right? Three gods make the Trinity. One. But there's only one God. The first commandment, it said, "Do not take any deity before me." This is one God. That's the first commandment. So Jesus came to teach a message, and that message has been corrupted. It has been corrupted. So with that reality, we have to understand that Jesus was a way.
When he died on the cross, was he raised?
He didn't die on the cross.
Well, he was raised
or whatever.
He was raised to God. Go ahead.
Was he died on a stake?
He didn't die on the cross, and in fact, there's verses in the Bible which say that he did not die on the cross. If you look in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7, it says, and I'm quoting word by word according to which translation you'll go by. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7 says, "During the days of his life on earth, when he offered up prayers and petitions and loud cries to the one who could save him from death, he was heard because of his submission to God." This is what it says.
So Jesus Christ was raised to God, and he will return toward the end of time. in order to renew the message of God.
So you believe that he was, as far as he didn't even die on the cross?
He was not killed nor crucified. But this is what the Jews boast. They boast that they killed him, but they didn't kill nor crucify him.
He was raised up, and he's going to come back. So when they say, when Jesus is coming, are you ready? Then there is the question, are you ready? Because
Do y'all have a book on your argument?
Yeah, that's one.
the one that you have.
The Quran.
There's the Trinity. Here's the Trinity. You can take
And
this.
then I have, hold up.
That'll be good. That's
I think in the back of this book there's
And so
a...
I wanted to ask you when, when you think of Adam, right? What comes to mind? Adam and Eve.
What comes to mind? What was?
Okay, Kim.
What was Adam?
Adam.
No, what
comes to
what
mind?
comes to your mind when you think of Adam? Because in the Bible it tells you about Adam and Eve, right?
Right.
So what comes to mind, to your mind?
First the creation of man. Not first. Not. I'm not going to say first. He was a new being on a new earth, and he was male and female together in one.
What about Eve?
Eve was taken from him. Okay, and this was and the reason Adam recognized her as his other half.
So you don't think that when you think of Adam and Eve, you don't think here's a part of creation it wasn't given birth to. They don't have a mother, nor a father.
His mother would be Earth.
Oh, so you think it's Earth?
Well,
so the Earth created Adam?
Okay, so now I'm a little different. I'm a Christian.
No, I'm just asking.
Your Earth was the womb of man. Okay, of Adam. Adam was the womb of Eve. Eve was the womb for the rest of all of living.
But they were not created on earth. How is earth their womb when they were not created on earth?
Yeah, so how can...
They were sent to earth after their creation.
Okay. I'm sorry?
Who created the earth?
God.
I think earth was already there. It was already present. And I think there was already beings and stuff living here earlier. And for whatever happened, I don't know what happened at that time, but...
What do you believe happened?
Maybe when the war took place in heaven.
Isn't it in the Bible in Genesis it says, in the beginning God created the heaven and earth, right? Isn't that is it? Is that it? In the beginning God created the heaven and earth, right? So in the beginning, if these are a part of the creation, how can anything come from it? If in the beginning it was...
Well, he said he formed Adam out of the dust of the ground.
Right.
You know, that's a very interesting perspective.
Right.
When it comes to Islam, you have creation and you have creator. There's a verse in the Bible that says you cannot see God and live. This is in the Bible. You cannot see God and live. Jesus Christ walked the earth. He ate food. Does God eat food? Doesn't eat. If God eats, then he has a defect. Does God sleep? God sleeps. What will happen to everything? God does not get tired. He does not sleep. He does not eat food. He does not allow people to throw rocks on him, and he sleeps. No, it is not God. God sends prophets in order to do that. God will grab the earth and heaven and earth.
Do you all believe that there was a life here before us?
The jinn.
The jinn, yeah. We believe, there's all types of creation before us. There's angels, there's spirits, there's animals, but the reality is the Creator is the only one worthy of our worship. That's the point.
And everything that was created, worship. It does what God tells it to. A bird, it flies. That's what God created the bird to do. A rock is made for us to sit on. It does what God created it to do. Nothing come into existence without the will of God.
So Islam means submission. Okay? Now, everything that has been created to submit. Right? I was talking to my son. I was telling him, you know this Halo game? You know this Halo game? What if you create a game, a 360 game? You create little worlds, and you're the creator. You're the maker. What if you created something in there that rebelled against you? That told the other people in the game that this creator, he's nothing, or lied against you. What would you do? I asked my son. He said, I would delete. He would get rid of it. But God has created us in order for us to submit to Him. Although we rebel all the time, He's so patient. So Islam is submission to the will of God. It is not named after any prophet. It is not named after any layer or any person or any people. It's a system to God. And that system, no matter what college, no matter what language you spoke, it was submission. That was the path to God. And before Jesus Christ, that path existed. Why do you think God sent the Torah? So if people couldn't get to God without Jesus, why would He send the Torah? Why? Because they're going to hell? No. Abraham. Is Abraham going to hell? No. Jesus come after Abraham. So how? See, we have to understand real knowledge, because the real knowledge has been taken from us.
Well, let me tell you something. This is why I believe. It's very confusing to read on everybody's viewpoint on religion.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their different views on it, and that's scary.
It is.
Very scary.
What's even more scary is to live a life of sacrifice, of devotion, of dedication. And when you end up,
it's in
you're
vain.
Wrong.
And it be in vain.
Yeah. So here's the situation.
Right. Let me ask you. How about God? Just say God, okay? Does God not see your heart?
Yeah, God sees your heart.
Does He not see your heart?
Yeah,
yes,
God
He does.
If He sees, is God a God of confusion?
No,
of
God,
course not.
He's not the author of confusion. One second.
He gave us free will.
Okay.
He's not the author of confusion, and that's a verse in the Quran. You just spoke from the Quran. God is not the author of confusion. It's in the Quran. Now, here's the thing. He sees your heart, but do you see your heart? You see a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm going to commit this crime, but God knows my heart. Yeah. I'm going to commit this adultery. God knows my heart. God knows I love Him. I'm going to smoke this here. I'm going to do this here. I may have to kill this person, but God knows my heart. That is true. But you see, there's guidelines for people who go astray. You just can't say, okay, I'm going to leave my life as submission. God knows my heart. As a result of that, you missed the mark. God knows it, but you don't. So you're walking a path thinking that you're living a righteous path because God knows your heart. But in reality, He has set rules, limits, and standards in order to keep you on the path.
Okay, so if we lay out all the different religions on this table here.
Yeah, you're looking at 2.something million religions.
Yeah, of rules. Okay. And you've probably not read them all.
I will never be able to. There's not enough days in my life.
Okay. So my point is,
how you figure out?
God.
Yeah.
One God, and here's all these different religions laid down here, and you just said you could not read them all.
Yeah. What would you do?
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Go ahead.
What I'm asking is, and you're serving God. Okay. You might be mixed up. You might be mixed up, but God would have to have a heart.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You see, God created you, and He created a system that you to live by. If you hear about the system and reject it, what is that? If you hear about the system God has laid out for you, isn't that rejection? If you reject God,
that was he was
And say, I know he knows my
the
heart.
information was placed in your hand, and you
And you reject him?
and you have.
What can you do? So, here's the thing. A criterion of the love of God is that you walk the path of God. You walk his path. You have enough courage and enough strength and enough love of God in your heart to walk his path. Because in your heart, you may be saying that this path, God knows it, but I'm not going to walk it. So your actions are speaking louder than your words. So the words, the actions, and the heart must be one. That is a truthful person. That is why I'm inviting you to Islam and inviting you to understand about Islam, to read about it, and to understand the different perspectives. Because the Quran is, without a doubt, the book of God.
Can I ask you a question? I want to just say first, thank you for giving us the opportunity to give you this information. And because you did stop and you did listen, I want to know from you, just to get an idea, or understanding of, like, what do you think your purpose is here on life?
Serve God.
Yeah, to serve God. You've got it round the head. And that was a verse from Quran. God said, وَمَا خَلَقْتَ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have only created man and jinn to worship me. First purpose. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. I have created life and death to show people, to see who is the best indeed. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to serve, to please God. Just like you would plant flowers. Just like you would create that day.
You should start your day out. You should start your day out with where does God want to take you, where does he want to lead you, where does he want to bring you in contact with, all nine.
Is that purpose, that is why we're out here trying to give the message. You see, God, he works in mysterious ways. He'll give you a message, and he specifically chose you. He specifically appointed you to receive a certain message from a tall guy who looks like LeBron James.
And another thing, since you said that, and that is your understanding of why you're here, know that every breath that we take, we're closer to death. So in this life, it's important that we do as many good deeds that we can in order to be pleasing to God, and know that life after death does exist, and that is what our goal is, to get Jannah, which is heaven. Get Jannah to Al-Firdaus, which is the highest rank in Jannah, for that. And with the understanding that as being a part of the creation, we're not perfect. Only God is perfect. So there will come times that we will have flaws. You understand? And this is why we repent and we ask God to forgive us for those. So I just, like the brother said, welcome you to
and this could be the moment of your life, right here, right now.
Well, I look at all. Here's my quest. Put it that way.
Yep.
My quest right now is I'm looking for truth.
Yeah.
And like we all do.
That's good.
And I do believe that the Bible's been messed with a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
There's history in it.
But I also wonder. At the same time, I wonder if God would allow the Bible to be messed with. Which is very powerful. So, will He allow man to actually change it?
Okay.
But then it also says in the end days that,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
it will be changed.
You see, we're
right?
people of choice. We're creations of choice. So God gives us the guidance. What we do with it. What if every time we committed a sin, our life would go?
I got a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in your religion? Do you believe that the body was created to heal itself?
The body was created to heal
The
itself.
body was created to heal itself. With the power of God.
On a certain, like when you scrape your skin, you know, the cells regenerate in that sense. I mean, there's a natural regeneration of scrapes and things like that.
Right.
We have an immune system.
In the body, right?
Hmm?
That's the largest organ
The
in the
skin?
body.
Mhm.
But how about you believe in the light of God?
Yeah,
In the light of God?
Yeah, God said He has.
Light's an energy, right?
Mhm.
And it talks about how full we are, full of light.
Some people.
Full of light. Well, here's the thing. God has said, Allahu Nur as-samawati wal-ard, that God is the light of the heavens and the earth. Now, this light, it doesn't pertain to a physical light, of course. It's spiritual light.
Right.
So, if we say this applies to all the Son of Man, you know, there's people worshiping devils. So are they filled with the light of God? The light of God is guidance. The light of God is that which we can see the truth
Right.
from
Falsehood.
So you think, like when it said, let there be light on the very first day, the sun was made for the fourth day.
Mhm.
So
That's a contradiction then.
No, I think that was the light of God.
Mhm.
I think that
How you doing,
darkness.
sir?
I think
You
that
want some food material?
the darkness was not darkness like we think of darkness.
Which one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Darkness was evil.
Yeah. It's right.
And when the Holy Spirit moved across the water, he said, "Let there be light."
You have any
That was the
questions?
light of God.
Yes.
And he saw the
Just
light.
make sure.
I'm not sure if I can agree with that because God is God and His.
Let me finish. He
And
said,
you don't throw it
and
away.
he divided the light from the darkness.
Right.
So a division, meaning he separates the two, good and evil.
No.
Listen, this is what, okay. You believe that there's a devil, right? How do you think the devil came into existence?
God.
Yeah. God created it.
And then, so with you knowing that, and knowing that God gave us free will, right? A choice.
I don't know if he even gave us free will.
Okay, but do you have, okay, listen, well, He gave us a mind, right?
Yeah.
To think. We know what is right, we know what is wrong, right? So when you distinct between the two, you making a choice, right? So whether you think He gave it to you or not, you still have the common sense to know whether something is wrong and whether it's right, correct? So you're going to do, you know, for a person who believes that you will still purposely, you're here to serve God, you're going to think the right thing to do, that's the way you're going to go. You're not going to follow this way. Same thing. The Shaitan, right, the devil, he made it, when God told him to prostrate to Adam, right, he said no. He wasn't going to prostrate to Adam because he felt he was better than Adam because Adam was made from dust and he was made from fire.
That's in the
And he told God that he will steer mankind, right? He's going to
lead them
right,
astray.
He's going to lead us astray. So even with that, we know that there's evil. And we know that the devil was on the way. But at that time, we still have a choice.
Yeah, we're creation of choice.
A choice and free will is two different things.
No.
Because, well, the reason why I'm saying is when you make a choice in life, that's your ability. But to be given it, your will is of course what you choose, right? Because they're really close together. But the will is you're supposed to. You just got that saying. You're supposed to do God's will.
Your will is life.
Okay.
Will,
so if you're supposed to do God's will on earth, then how are you going to be able to do? How are you going to follow? How can you make your own choice because you're stepping out of God's will if you're making your own choice?
Let me explain something. When I say will, means wish. And that we have qada wa qadar. I got technical on it. God's will, wish, for you on earth. Assalamu alaikum, brother. So God's wish for you, what He wants for you, is to walk His path. That's what I meant. We have qada or qadar.
That would be his will, right?
His wish, yes. His wish for you to obey him. That's what I meant. Now, destiny, different conversation. God has decreed everything. But he agrees according to your intention, according to your wishes, according to your wants, according to his wisdom. When he decrees, we don't know what goes onto that calculation.
Like what you just put with intention.
Exactly. Your intention, your
That
desire.
fuels the whole thing.
Sometimes you will.
God fuels your intention.
You could,
power.
exactly. He allows you to do it. Now, you could intend to do something and he stops you. That's part of his decree. Or you could intend to do a good and he stops you.
What's the decree mean?
Decree, divine decree. Divine decree. God said in the Bible that not a leaf falls except by his permission. Right? So every leaf falls by his permission. Meaning that God has complete control over all things. You see what I'm saying? So, with that perspective, that's what I mean by decree. We are taught, the prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, he said that everything God has preserved in a preserved tablet, a book of decrees, Allahul Mahfuz. It's a book, Allahul Mahfuz. It is a divine book of decree. Everything is in it until the day of judgment. Okay?
Even this conversation.
Now, let's relate that back to his past, because we don't want to go too technical, because I can get real technical and you can get real technical. The principle of the message is that you have enough courage to accept the path of God, no matter what it takes. If you're a true servant, because in the last days you won't be popular trying to walk the path of God. You will never be popular. They won't call you a rock star. They won't ask for your autograph. You will be unpopular. But on the day of judgment, well, in this world, God will give you a contentment to walk by, a light, a light to see by. And on the day of judgment, you will be raised with the honored ones. That is why we accept the path of God, and that's why we are. And so, the purpose of life is the fundamental question. Why are we here? What are we doing? How do we reach God? You see, there's so many distractions. TV, the blog, the internet, the magazine, every distraction. And you'll be so distracted until you die. There was a guy.
And why do we have the distractions? We have the distractions
as control mechanisms, but take
you off the path where God has you
go. The devil has a big plan. Big plan. Jesus said this. All the prophets said this. Moses said this. Abraham said, all of them talk about the wretchedness of the devil in all books. So, the path to God is a hard path. It's a steep path, but it's very rewarding. And so it takes courage. And so if you believe in this, you should become a Muslim. And you should testify that there is no God worthy of worship. Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the prophet, last message of God, and all of the prophets of God came to renew the message of God. That's how you become walk with him. If you will of God, submission.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to read all your list.
Okay, all right. And you got my phone number? I'm going to give you my phone number. We have a mosque off of Gervais Street. I'm one of the preachers there. So you can come there anytime, and we will treat you as our brother. Okay?
You know where Greyhound bus station is?
Yeah.
Right next to
that's Savannah. Where's Greyhound down here?
Greyhound down near where Constant Car Wash is on Gervais Street. You know Hardin Street? And Hardin and 5 Point.
Oh, okay.
It's
down
a
there.
it's a Greyhound across from the Exxon. And then right next door to Greyhound is the mosque. And there's a sign right out there. Right up under the big billboard.
Yeah.
It's called Lamar.
It's called Islamic Center of Columbia. Masjid al-Muslimin, sorry.
Masjid means the place of prostration. When we prostrate, you see all the prophets, they prostrate. Jesus prostrated, Abraham prostrated, Moses prostrated.
What is prostrate?
When you put your head on the ground,
oh, okay.
your forehead on the ground, that is the closest you get to God.
Can
So,
I write the address down for you on your
right in the Quran, and write my phone number in the Quran, and write the date that I gave it to him. So, masjid means the place to Jew. Masjid means the place of prostration. So, come there, bring your questions.
Like
I'll
a
be there.
house of prayer.
A house of prayer. That's exactly what it is. Not business, not anything other than that, except a place of prayer. So, come there.
That's what Jesus said.